Okay, let's get started. So this is the class notes I'm opening. So in the last class, we created a remote repository in GitHub, right? And you also know generating token for your GitHub, for your GitHub account. So you're all able to create remote repository. Anybody is facing an issue? Are you able to create remote repository in GitHub? Any issues you faced so far?
No,
Okay.
sir.
So this is your GitHub, say for example, right? In GitHub, we created a repository, say YCult63, correct? So this is your remote repository. And once the repository is created, anybody in the project can clone the repository, right? They'll get a .git, that is local repository. And then you have a source area, and then you have staging area, correct? So for example, you have login.java here. When you clone the repository, same file comes in source, stage, and then git, when .git local repository. This is your local repository. And then we add the file to the staging area. We modify the file in the source. We add it to the stage. And then we commit it to local repository, correct? So whenever you commit this particular file, this is the initial one. Whenever you commit, what will happen? You'll get a separate copy. And then it will store the information like who modified, what time it is modified, right? And then why it is modified, and so on. And if you want to push it to the remote repository, we just push it. Same file will be stored in the remote repository and other people can access it, correct? So first step is clone. Second step is modify the file. Third step is move it to stage. Fourth step, you commit it. And fifth step, you push it. These are the steps we have. So let me clone the repository that we created in the last session, okay? Source, okay? So I'm removing everything. Just I want to show you things from scratch, right? I don't have anything here. So git clone, and then our repository name is YCult63, okay? I'm cloning it, YCult63, right? ls-a. So this is my local repository, that is .git, correct? And this is the source area. In source area, there is a login.java here, correct? Okay. So how do you commit the file? Say for example, I want to modify the file, okay? I'll modify in the source area. You have to think that this file is in the source area, right? See, there are no modifications, right? From last clone. Since there are no modifications, it says, nothing to commit. Working tree is clean. Okay. Now let me modify and then you see what happens. Login.java. Okay. I'm just, modifying some string or some change. Okay. Git status. See, now the file is shown in the red color, means there is a change in the source area. Red color means the file is changed and then the file is in the source area. Now I want to commit it. What do I do? Git add login.java. Okay, git status. We have file in the staging. Green color means it is in staging, right? Now I want to commit it. Git commit -m and then you give the reason. So why you are committing this? For example, take argument, something like that. Okay, and then file name. Git status, since the file is committed, it is not showing in the staging area now, right? Okay, you see this. Your branch is ahead of origin by one commit. You will understand about what is this master, branch, and things like that later. Okay. So for now, it says you have one extra commit. Okay, right. So that's how you commit it. And how do you check the history of this particular file? What is that command we use? Can somebody tell me?
Git log.
Git log. Git log will tell us the history of a file. That means how many times this particular file is modified, right? Who modified it, what time it was modified, reason, and so on. So this is the recent commit. Just now I committed something, right? Take arguments. And yesterday somebody modified this particular file 2 times, and these are the details. Okay. So if you see here, it has my name, right? It has taken my name and then email ID. So how it knows that this is my name and then email ID? Question, right? Because I already configured it. I have that configuration already. That is the reason it is taking my name and email ID. But if you had tried, if you would have tried commit, it would have thrown you an error, right? Saying, tell me who you are. That is the message you get. If the username and email ID is not configured, okay, it will throw you the error. So what I'll do, I will remove my details. I'll remove my name and then this email ID. Okay. I'll remove this name and email ID and I'll show that error to you. And then I'll configure it. So this is where, remember, Git config. This is where Git stores the details. So this file is in user home /home/ your name and .git config file. This is where it stores. So I'm removing it. I have removed the file means what? My name, email ID, everything is wiped out, correct? Now let me try to commit something. But this time what I'll do, I will create a new file, okay? I'll create a new file. So let's say, for example, I'm Harry, right? I'm Harry and I want to add a new file to my repository, okay? So how do I do it? We do our work in source area, right? So I'll create a file, something like this, like palm.xml, some file. When you practice, you give something. Git status, okay? Now you see, it says untracked file. Untracked file means this is in red color. Sorry, untracked file means this is a new file. Red color means this is in the source area. We just created the file, correct? This is in the source area. I told you, whatever you see, right, outside of this Git is considered as source area. Then tell him the steps. How do I commit it and then push it to the remote repository? Can somebody tell me the commands? How do we commit this?
Git commit.
Git status. Where is this particular file? Where is this file?
Source area.
Source area. It is here. Abdul, tell me, how do I commit this?
Git commit.
Git commit.
Yes.
Okay, everybody. You can also directly commit it.
Git no, sir. No, Git add, sir. Git add. Sorry.
We can also directly commit the file to local repository. That is also possible, but we have not discussed that. Okay. So Abdul, we have to first add it to stays, correct? What is the command we use? Git
Commit.
okay.
Sorry, Git add. Yeah.
Right. You forgot that. Then Git status. Now green color means it is in staging area. Now Abdul.
Git commit, sir.
Git commit.
-m.
Yeah, message. Remember that.
Yes. Yes, a message.
Message. Okay. Some right. Say, well, I will say automation code. You know why you are creating the file, you just give the reason and then file name, optional. Okay, done. Now you see, everybody. Since my name and email ID is not configured, it says, please tell me who you are. Please tell me who you are. Because, see, we know, right? When Git commits the file, it is added to the stage. when it commits the file, it will create a separate commit ID here, right? It will get a separate commit ID, right? So it will get a separate commit ID. And it has to record who modified it. It has to record the time. It has to record the email ID. It has to record the message, correct? Message we have given just now. And how it knows your name and then, email ID, correct? Since it was not configured, it says, please tell me who you are. So actually speaking, it'll try to take the details from your mission automatically, and then it'll construct the email ID. See, it has taken my username, parallels. That's my name, login name, right? And this is my mission name. Since there is no .com, it is unable to construct, right, the email ID. So it is asking me, forget about this. So it is asking me to configure the username, right? So what's that command? Hello Git, please configure. See, there are commands here. Okay. Hello Git, please configure what? Username. Remember. Hello Git, please configure username. Okay. And then you give the username in double quotes. This is my username. Okay. This is my username. Right. And here you have to give an option called -- global. So assume that this is my mission, right? This is my mission. I may have to work with multiple repositories sometimes, correct? So for example, I'm working for 2 projects. So this is project 1, application or software code. This is project 2, software code, for example, Flipkart. So I will clone this also in some other place. I'll clone this. If I want to work on this project, I'll modify something and then I'll push it. If I want to modify something here, I'll push it. So in one mission, right, I am cloning 2 repositories, correct? So when I commit something, here also I need my username, right? It has to record my username. So here we say global. Global means what? This username will be used for all repositories. You understand the point or not? Very simple. I'm working on project 1 called Viculty. I have cloned the code here. Okay. And then I commit. So it will take my name. I'm working on another project called Flipkart. So what do? I'll go to some other directory and then I'll clone that project, right? And then I'll commit. So there also I need username. So here global means what? It will take this name for all repositories. Done. Again, hello Git, please configure for all repositories. Okay. That means if I am working in this mission, right, for any repository, take this name. Okay. And then user.email. Remember this user.email, give your email ID. This is my email ID. Okay, done. That's all. So that's how you configure your username and email ID. Clear with this? Any questions you have so far? So once you run these 2 commands, if you want to see all the configurations that you have, use this command git config - all - list, sorry. list option shows you all the configurations. Okay. So here, see this is my username. This is my email ID. And there are some default, right, configurations. Don't worry about them. Okay. So I have configured username and then email ID. Do I need to configure username and email ID every day? No, not required. Only once you have to execute this command. Once this command is executed, it will store your username and email ID in this mission. So where it will store the username and email ID? In this file. See this VIM dot git config. Okay, dot git config. So git config -n list. So it is storing your name and email ID. So if you open this file, see it is storing here. So you have to execute that command only once, and then it will permanently store your name and email ID here. So next time when you commit, it will refer, the configurations from here, and then use it. Clear? So how do you configure your username and email ID? Git config global user.name user.email. Okay. Interview question. Can somebody answer this? Where Git stores username, email, and all other configurations? In which file it stores? And where is that file? Can somebody give me the path? In which file Git stores the username and email ID?
Git config
Git config. Where is that file? Where it will be?
-etc.
It will be in user home. Okay. User home means assume. Okay, remember everybody. User home is this directory. Parallels is called as a user home directory. Okay. And that file will be here only under this parallels under user home. Okay. Right. That's how you configure your username, email ID. And you know how to list all the configurations. And this is where it stores the configurations. User home dot git config. Clear? Any questions you have about setting the username and email ID?
So like, what if I don't want to set it globally, and I want to do it only in a local machine?
That's a good question. So if you don't want to set it for all the repositories, you have to just remove it. Okay, Rajneesh?
Okay, sir.
If you remove this -n global, it will set for the current repository wherever you are. Say if I execute that command here, okay, it will be set only for this repository.
Got it.
Let's see what is this staging index. We call it as a stage or staging index. What do you call that? We call that as a stage or staging index. See this. Using a stage option, we can logically group the changes related to a bug fix or feature development. This will help us to track the history of the bug fix. I have a small thing. One second. I have a small doubt. Once again. See, we can do that, but there is a small issue. Okay, it says you're right, but there is a small thing. I just want to give you the 100%. Just give me 1 minute. 1 minute. I feel there are some changes in recent latest Git, so that is the thing. Other version control system, it is possible. So I'm just done. Okay, then this all says only one thing. Okay, see this. So what we do, we modify something in the source area, okay, and then we add it to the stage, and then we have to commit it. Correct? That's what we do. So the question, why staging area is required? That's the question, right? Why can't I directly commit the files to the local repository? You can directly commit the files to the local repository also. You can also do this, okay? You can skip the staging. You can directly commit the changes to the local repository. But as a best practice, what we do, we first add the changes to the staging area. From staging, we commit it to local repository. Okay. So now you have your question, right? Why I have to add the file with the staging first? What is that advantage I get? Simple question, right? That's the question you have, right? Okay. Say this. This guy, for example, Harry, is working on some bug. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There'll be numbers for each and every issue. Okay, issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, and so on. Similarly, they say bug 1, bug 2, bug 3, bug 4, and so on. There'll be a number for each and every bug issue that you have in your software, right? So there is a bug, some issue in your software, and that bug number is 1, 2, 3, something like this. Harry is also working on some feature development, 2 things. So feature means, for example, this guy, Harry, is working on developing cash and delivery feature. Harry is working on implementing cash and delivery feature. Okay. Say, for example, you see the cash and delivery option, right, in e-commerce websites mostly. So Harry is working on writing some Java code for that. Okay. So to fix this particular bug, right, Harry modifies 2 files. Okay, 4 files. How many files Harry modified? 4 files. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And for this particular feature, Harry modified 2 files. So 2 files. Clear now? So how many files are modified in the source area? Because Harry is working, parallelly on both the things. Harry is working parallelly on fixing that bug and then implementing that feature. Any questions? Okay, see this. So these 4 files are related to bug, and these 2 files are related to this thing. These 2 are different things, correct? This is one thing, this is another thing, correct? Now, assume Git architecture doesn't have staging area. Git doesn't have staging concept, assume. What will happen? You commit it. So if you commit, all will be committed. Okay, 4, 5, 6, all 6 files will be committed. Okay, so how many files are committed in this particular commit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, correct? And then you give some commit message, right? You give some commit message. Okay, done. Now assume that you pushed it to the remote repository, this one. So you have a commit in this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files are there. How many files are there? 6 files. So there are some issues now. If you commit all 6 files at once, there are some issues. First thing, if you see this commit has files or changes related to 2 things, correct? One is the bug fix, one is feature development. Assume that today the work is done. Harry committed everything in one commit. Assume that after 1 month or 1 year, there is some issue with the code, right? And Sally wants to know what files are modified for bug fix only. Sally wants to know, after 1 year, Sally wants to know what files are modified for, bug fix only. So what command Sally will use to see the history of this particular commit? Git log, correct? Git log. Okay. So if you say git log, okay, no, there is another command called git show. I'll show you that later. Okay. For example, this commit ID is 2. This is 1. Okay. So you have to say git show 2. Git show 2. If you say git show 2, it will tell you who modified, what time this is modified, why this is modified, and then how many files are modified. How many files are modified. If you want to see how many files are modified in a commit, right, you can use git show command. Git show, and then you have to give this commit ID, okay, 2. I'll show that to you later. We just take the concept first. Very simple. Harry is working on fixing bug 1, 2, 3, and then feature. 4 files are related to this bug fix. 2 files are related to this feature. So 4 files, 2 files. Assume that there is no staging area. Harry commits everything into the local repository. Everything into local repository. Then Harry pushes the changes. So you have 6 files stored in this commit. Now, after 1 year, Sally comes and then says, okay, Sally wants to know what files are modified for bug fix. Or Sally wants to know what files are modified for this feature development. Sally wants to know. So Sally will use git show command. Git show 2, it will tell you. It will show you all 6 files, correct? It will show you 6. But these 6 are related to bug fix? No, right? This is the thing. So that means you don't have clean history. You don't have clean history about something. Clean history in the sense what? I want, right, only this bug fix related files in one commit. I want this feature related files in one commit. So if you have 2 separate commits, one for bug fix and then one for feature code, then anybody, in the world, right, after say 1 year, for example, people can know, okay, for this bug fix, 4 files are modified. For this feature, 4 files are modified. So you have, different commits for different work. And you can, clearly analyze the files. If you have, 100 files in one commit, if you have 100 files in one commit, you don't know what files are related to bug fix, what files are related to this feature and things like that, and then there is a lot of confusion. So they say it is not the right way to maintain the history, right? So that's where Git has a concept called stays. With stays, let's see how we solve this problem. Okay, very simple. Assume that you have staging concept. If you have staging, what we can do? So I have 6 files, right? 4 plus 2, 6 files. If there is a staging, what I can do? I can add, for example, I am done with my bug fix work. How many files are modified for bug fix? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can add this 4 files to staging. Now you see, only 4 files you have in the stage. That means bug fix related files are separated. That means you are able to group all the files which are related to something. Now you commit 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and then push it. So here you have a commit, 4 files are there, and these 4 files are related to bug fix. See, using stage, what you can do, you can group the changes logically. You can group the changes logically in the sense, okay. What is the logical sense here? Files related to bug 1, 2, 3. Files related to this feature. Files related to this feature. So that's the meaning of logically grouping the things. So we are grouping the files based on the issue, based on the bug fix or feature and so on. So since there is a staging, we can separate the files logically related to a bug fix or related to a feature, and then you can commit. And then you push. So you have the clean history. After 1 year, if Sally wants to know, right, what happened in this particular commit, Sally will use git show and then commit ID. Sally can see only this bug fix related files and she can troubleshoot. If you have 100 files here, then Sally has a lot of confusion, right? So since there is a stage concept in Git, using that you can group the changes related to a bug fix or feature. So, and that's how you have to work. And that's where you leverage your staging concept. So remember, if you as a DevOps engineer are working on multiple things at a time, right, you will be having a lot of files modified. This is for the task 1, this is for task 2. Okay. In that case, don't skip the staging. Don't skip the staging. If you skip the staging, what will happen? Everything will go in one commit. And then that will create a lot of confusion, right? So what you have to do as a best practice, if you are working on the multiple changes, first, assume that you are done with this thing. Stage it, commit it. Done. Again, you are done with this work. Stage these 2 files, commit it. So you have only 2 files here. So this is commit is related to task 1, this is related to task 2. So you have clean history, and after 1 year, 10 years, if you want to know what happened, right, what files you modified to fix the bug, what files you modified to develop the feature, you have the clean history. So don't mix multiple things in one commit. And if you want to do that, using stays, we can separate. Clear the, clear the concept why staging is required. If there is no staging, see, if you take other version control systems, you take even commercial paid version control systems. So those version control systems don't have stays. It's a Git specialty. So and that's why they decided. Okay. So staging is optional. Okay. So if you want to group the changes, stays are, assume that you are working on only one issue. Okay, so 4 files are modified. These are all related to only one thing. Okay, one task, for example. In that case, staging is not required. What you can do, you can just directly commit. All 4 will go, and then all 4 are related to one commit. See, this is just the best practice. You know what? People who don't know, right, say about this stage. Sometimes I have seen a lot of people doing it. For example, 4 files, 2 files. This is related to issue 1. This is related to issue 2. They will commit everything in one commit only. Possible, nobody will question in real time. Yes, if you are working in real time, nobody will question you. Okay, but after 1 year, if somebody wants to see things related to this or things related to this, and if you have mixed everything, they think, okay, this Harry, right, developer, doesn't did not follow the best practice. He could have created a separate commit, so that today it would have been very easy for me to find out the things, analyze the things. It is just a best practice, but a lot of times people do commit multiple files, and that is okay. It's that's what, right, that's okay is what I'm telling, but it's a best practice. You should not do it. And if you have to selectively selectively select the files, what do? Staging is required. So 2 you can move here, and then you can commit only 2. So staging is helping to separate the things required, which are required related to something. So with stays, you can you can group the files, first thing. And then it is also helping you. For example, you have modified 6 files, 2 files you want to commit. Okay, you staged it, and then say, for example, you started working on some other thing. This is related to something else. Now your manager comes and asks you, okay, did you finish the work of this task? You say yes. Now you already staged this too, correct? Say 2 days back you staged, and today your manager gives you permission to commit this code. Now before you commit, if you have the files in the stage, you can very easily review it. That stage means what? Commit is the actual thing. Commit is the final thing. Okay, before you commit, you have your changes in the stage. Stage means what? Kind of before you actually do something, right? You can review, right? It's like one step back. So if you have your files here, for example, you can also review them, right? If you want to review, you can review here also, but again, you may forget, okay, how many files are related to bug fix and things like that, right? So here you have clearly separated 2 files, and no matter you have 100 files changes here, so you can just go and then review, and then you can commit. So before you do the actual commit, you can review the changes, content that you have modified. So that's a kind of a safe thing. So these are the advantages of stays. So that is in Git has staging concept. This is not 95% of the times. This is not interview question. Okay, only 5% of the chances people ask you what is stays in Git, why stays in Git. 5% of the chances, I would say 3% of the chances, for interviewers asking you this question in interview. This is not an interview question. It is just for your understanding. That's all. Since you are learning it, I want you to understand things from core. That is the reason I'm explaining. But this is not, otherwise this is not important for interview, and not very important thing. But I hope you understand the stage concept. Any other questions you have about staging? So ChatGPT gives a lot of things. Ghuma Firake, it all comes to the same thing that I explained. Okay. Understand what is stage? Any questions in the meantime? Any questions about staging, or you have any confusion? Go ahead.
Oh, all is
Is it clear? At least now, can you respond? Is it clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Rajni, it's no questions. Okay. Maharshi has a question. Can we create multiple files in one repository? Yeah, Maharshi. What is your, question? I did not get it. Do you mean we can store multiple files in the repository, right? You say, can you create multiple files in a repository? You want to reframe your question, or is it your question? Can I commit multiple files in one commit?
Yes, sir.
Can I add multiple files in one commit? Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can do it. Since. So, what is the question? Can I add multiple files in one commit? Not can I add multiple files in one repository? Correct, Mahesh?
Yes, sir.
That is the difference, right? Okay. Understand. So when we are learning, right, sometimes we use wrong terminology, right? So that's where I'm here, right? So I will correct, right? I have to correct. That's my job, right? See this. So, but you should not hesitate to ask the questions. I told you in the first day. Let's commit this. Git commit -m. Right now we have the username and email ID set, right? I'm committing it. Build automation code. Okay. See, I'm able to commit now. Fine. Say I don't have any changes. Okay. I don't have any changes. Let's modify two files. Login.java, right? I'm modifying something. And then I'm modifying another file. Something like this. How many files are modified? Two files, right? Git status. See, two files are modified. Red color means you still have those changes in source area. You modified these two files. Now I want to commit. What is the best practice? Add it to the stage. Git add login.java form.xml file. So you can add two files also like this. Git status. Two files are here, right? Okay. Now commit it. Git commit -m. Developed something like this. Developed COD cache and delivery feature. See, now I modified two files for developing this feature. So I'm committing two files at once. So these two files will be in one commit now. So you modified two files, correct? Now when you commit, this will have two files now. I'll show that to you. That means in this commit you have two files, one, two. Two files will be stored in one commit. Now login.java, form.xml, two files. Note this. You modified two files, okay? And you can add. If you don't give the file names, what will happen? When you run git commit command, okay? If you don't, you can give the files, two files, or without you can give the two file names, right? If you don't give the file names also, that's also fine. If you don't give the file names, you know what will happen? Whatever files you have in the staging, everything will be committed. Remember, you have two files modified. You can selectively give the file names, or if you don't give file names, what will happen? If you have 10 files in the staging, 10 files will be committed. I'm not giving the file names now. See, so both files are committed. You don't have anything in the staging now. Earlier you were having something. Now you don't have anything in the staging because these two files are committed. Right? Now, git log lsfna. If you want to see the history of a particular file, what is the command we use? Git log, right? Or I say git log form.xml.
Okay.
So git log, that's a Siri, okay? I think it is. Did I say Siri? I don't know. Maybe it misinterpreted my thing and then it is responding with something. Okay, okay. Leave it. So git log pom.xml file. Okay. So if you want to see the history of a particular file, you say git log pom.xml file name. If you don't give the file name, guess what will happen? It will give you the history of complete repository. Okay. In this repository, you have 10 files, for example. If you want to see the history of only this particular file, git log file name. If you just say git log, it will give you the history of this one, this one, this one, this one, everything, all files. Now you see this. Assume that you run git log command. Okay. There is a commit ID here. There is a commit ID. There is a commit ID. Okay. Say, see, I am a developer. Listen this carefully. I am a developer. Okay. I heard that cash and delivery feature is implemented in my project. I heard cash and delivery feature is implemented in my project. Do I know what files are modified to implement this feature? Do I know? I don't know, right? I don't know how many files are modified to develop this feature. So I cannot say git log login.java, git log pom.xml file because I don't know the file names. I don't know the file names. So I want to find out what files are modified in this particular feature. For example, say I'm giving you all real-time use cases. I'm not just explaining git log command. I'm not just explaining something. Okay. I'm giving you, okay, what is that command? Where we use that command in real time, right? I'm also giving you a real-time use cases, correct? So that you can use these commands in your daily work. Don't worry. By end of the Git, you will be able to understand where, in what scenario, in what cases I use a particular command. You will understand that. Don't worry. Okay, see this. So I want to know, right, what files are modified for this cash and delivery feature. So what command I run? Git log. So I'm listing the history of the complete repository because I don't know the file name. I'm listing the history of complete repository. Okay. Done. So I come here. Okay, developed cash and delivery feature. Okay, that means cash and delivery feature related modifications, right? Feature related files are here. Fine. Okay, fine. Changes are here. But what files are modified? How many files are modified? How do I know? Is it telling? Is git log giving you the file names? And then I want to know the file names. I want to know the content changes also. I want to know file name. And in a particular file, code changes also I want to know. Possible, right? Correct? So what do? In that case, I use a command called git show. Git show, right? And then see this. You can give the commit ID. You can give full commit ID or first 7 characters. First 7 characters are also fine. See this. Git show commit ID. See, it clearly says, right? This is your normal git log output. Plus, see this. Login.java is modified. And these are the changes. Plus, and then green color means you added these lines. Plus means added these lines. See, there is one more file here. pom.xml file. Right? And what is the content changes? Plus and green color means you added these lines. So, right? Git log. So, if you want to know how many files are modified in a particular commit, what is that command we use? Git show. And then hello Git, show me all files modified along with the content in this particular commit. Show me. So it will give you login.java, pom.xml file, and these are the changes. So in one commit, you can also, in one commit, you can add 2 files. See, in this particular commit, 2 files are there, 1, 2. So you modify these 2 files, and then if you commit, what will happen? it'll create a commit, and then here it will store 2 files. You push, 2 files are here. When somebody close the repository, they will get these 2 files here. Or 2 files changes. Clear with that, Maharshi? Any questions about this? Okay. So we were talking about the staging, right? So staging helps us to logically group the changes. It helps us to separate the changes related to a task 1, task 2, and so on. And then when you commit, better you commit changes related to particular task. One commit for one task, second commit for second task, and so on, right? So that's the best practice. As I also mentioned that you can also directly commit the changes without adding the files to the staging, correct? You can skip the staging and then add the files. You can also do that. For example, I have 2 files, 2 file modifications related to one feature. So in that case, I don't need to stage. I can directly push it because I know that these 2 files are related to one task. So I'll just I can skip the staging. So how do you skip the staging and then directly commit? That's the question, right? How do you skip the staging? It's very simple. Git status. So for example, I am modifying, 2 files. Okay. Something like this. Okay. I'm modifying 2 files. Git status. Right. And I want to commit them. So I'm ready to commit because these 2 are related to only one thing. So you don't need to add it to the storage. If you want to add, that's also fine. Okay. So, but I don't want to perform one more step. Okay. I want to directly commit it. So when you can directly commit, if you want to commit everything at once, right? And if those changes are related to one particular task, commit them, no issues. You don't need to add them. So git commit -m. Okay. So committing changes related to bug, related to say login, related to say payment issue, something like that. Okay. And if you are directly committing, remember this, if you are directly committing, you have to add one option called A. Normally, how do you commit? Like this, correct? If you are going through the staging process, right? Modify, git add, git commit. This is how you commit, git commit. Now you are not adding, right? You're not adding it to the stage. So if you are not adding files to the stage, add -a. See, everything is committed. Status committed. So how do you skip the staging? Into question. How do you skip the staging? Just tell them I add -a option. If you want to commit everything by skipping the staging, add -a. So that's about the staging index. You can read more about this in Google. And I've also explained git show command. Okay, git show and then commit ID if you give, this will tell you file names and then the content, lines that are modified in the files. It will give you everything.
Sir, if we don't add -a, then what will happen if we directly commit?
It will throw the error.
It will throw the error. Okay.
It will throw the error. Because it will, so by default, what it thinks is, so by default, see, after staging only commit comes, correct? After staging only commit comes. So that's its expectation. Since you don't have the files in staging, it will throw the error. Okay, if you have the files in the staging, we don't need to give -a. We don't need to tell Git. That's its assumption. Since files are not in stage, it will throw the error now. Okay, files are not in stage and you're asking me to commit. Why? How? So that's when I say we add -a. If I say -a, Git understand. Okay, you are consciously committing by skipping the staging. So if I say -a, it's okay, fine. I'll commit it to the local repository. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's about this thing. Tomorrow I will explain what is this, commit ID. How Git generates this commit ID. I'll explain that. So these are all, see, in day-to-day, work, these concepts may not help you, okay, but it will give you the knowledge about a tool, perfect knowledge. So with this knowledge, when something goes wrong, you can troubleshoot or solve issues very easily, right? If you have knowledge, you can analyze the errors and then troubleshoot and then solve the issues very easily. If you don't have knowledge, then you don't understand the issue, and it will become very difficult for you to think about the solution. Okay. Right. That's all for today. So I'm assuming you are reading you're reading Linux, basic Linux tutorials first thing, and you're reading Git, that Pro Git book. Okay, keep reading those two continuously. Any questions for me today?
Hi, sir. I have one question.
Yeah.
I have a question in git add and git commit. So here we have used git add file name. So sometimes used dot instead of given file name. So can we use to git commit?
Come again.
So I have one question in git add and git commit here. So we have used to git add file name.
Correct.
So sometime use dot
Yeah, you're true.
instead of giving file name. So can we use to git commit?
Yeah, see this. I'm modifying file 1. Okay, some modifications. I am modifying another file. Okay. Git status. Okay, 2 files are modified. Right. Okay. Now I want to add these 2 files to the staging. What is the command we use? Git add login.java pond.sml file. Correct. That's how we add it. What if you have 10 files? You have to give file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, and so on. Very difficult, right? That's where we can also use dot. Dot means what? All. Dot means all. It'll stay all. See this? All. That's where we use dot. Okay, Abdul?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. Okay, if you still have any questions, just note it down and you can ask them in tomorrow's class. Okay, I have to start another batch. So I have to forcefully quit the session now. If you have any questions, just note down. I'll clarify them tomorrow before the class.
Sir,
Okay?
tomorrow session will be at the same time, 8 o'clock, or it will be 7:30 again?
Okay, from now on, the timing will be 7:30 every day. Is that fine? For some
Yes.
time, or maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Sure. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Good night.